I don't know what I should do here because I have a lot of notes on this game, and it's a game that deserves to be talked about, but it's like, I don't want to relive this one because it's amongst the most frustrating games I've ever watched in my 40 whatever years. I don't even know how old I am. It's mind blowing that us fans need to endure this type of inconsistency in the officiating in the National Hockey League for like 4 consecutive games, because you think it would give you at least peace of mind that the officials would leave the game and they'd say, hey, I made a really dumb call there that cost a team the game potentially. But you don't know that. You don't know that. And you feel like that doesn't happen, because why would it keep happening game after game after game? Anyway, I'm going to try to piece together a video here. Stick with me. Let's talk about it.
Penguins in these situations have been able to battle back in the past.
I think I found a way to do this video without cutting out too much stuff. In fact, I'm going to talk about all my notes, but I'm not going to go in and fish out every single little clip that I'm talking about. I'll talk about the important stuff. As usual, my videos are pretty thorough, so I think this is a satisfying way to do this. And despite the way that I'm feeling right now, I'm so happy, guys. This is important hockey. This is so interesting. The Canadiens looked really good tonight. There's some bumpy spots, and there's, obviously there's some problems legitimately with penalties, but this is such a fun, exciting team, and you guys are all on board, and you are with me in this community, and we are just doing incredibly. Very close to hitting 24,000 subscribers. Unbelievable. And the last video broke records. Really good watch time, lots of likes, lots of comments in the comment section. I love reading your comments. Thank you for sticking by me. Thank you for commiserating with me. Thank you for talking about how you're stressed out when you watch these games. But let's get into recapping this game. Nous commençons par passer en revue sur la formation de départ. As usual, we go over the starting lineup, but let's zoom right through this because it's the same, right? Nos attaquants, our forwards, Caulfield, Suzuki, Slav, Anderson, Deneau, Evans, Newhook, Kapanen, Demidov, Bolduc, Doc, Texier. Nos défenseurs, our defensemen, Matheson, Carrier, Gouli, Hudson, Struble, Xhekaj. Nos gardiens, our goalies, Dobesh in net as usual, and Fowler on the bench. So once again, incredible way to start the game by honoring Serge Savard, the Senator himself, 7-time Stanley Cup champion. I think 7 times. And they dropped the puck on this one. Montreal comes out checking. It's Evans, Anderson, Deneau. They're setting the tone once again. And something that was a little bit heartening was the first line was threatening to do something early on in the game. Montreal has a lot of momentum early, but they take a too many men penalty. I thought this one was pretty strict. It looked like, the player was within reach of stepping off the ice. But regardless, Tampa goes on the power play, and they get a ton of chances. But it was a brilliant penalty kill. And Josh Anderson did great to get the puck out, forechecked. I mean, Josh Anderson was looking in full form again tonight. Dobesh looked different in net tonight, but he was solid. He started kind of looking like his old self there for a second. He wasn't as mechanical as he was recently, how we're kind of getting used to seeing him. So that scared me a little bit. Still in the first period, there's great puck movement by the Montreal Canadiens. They're moving the puck north really well. That doesn't necessarily continue for the rest of the game, but it was a tug of war at certain parts. And I felt like Montreal got the best of it. Now at 12:28, this bugged me. They weren't going to put their hand up for interference here, but the Tampa player gets his stick up into Deneau's face and the hand goes up. Ridiculous that this was so visible, and it took the high stick in order to get the call. On the power play, Suzuki, amazing opportunity, can't put it in. Then Slav, another great opportunity, can't put it in. Right around the halfway mark, Bolduc lays a big hit. This is what I'd like to see more from Bolduc. I think this was one of the features that he was supposed to come with. And if he can unlock that, it would definitely add to his identity on the team, I'll say. Then at 10:50, Tampa takes another penalty. This one was a weak one. I'll admit this one was very weak. But if I go through my notes, this is the one bad one that Tampa, can't blame themselves for. on this power play. Caulfield now, really good chance, but can't put it in. Fast forward a little bit. Tampa is now in striking distance, but Cooch sends in a pancake. And then before the end of the first period, Montreal starts to look the opposite of what they did on the first half of this period. They're having problems in their offensive zone. Tampa is definitely punching back. But that's it for the first period. Still scoreless. We head into the second period. Anderson takes a boarding call here, but he's the one that gets hurt off this. He's off to the dressing room. He does return, but this was just a hit. Like this, the amount of calls that wouldn't even necessarily get called in regular season. I just put your whistles away, guys. Now with about 4 minutes gone in the second period, Montreal's starting to have a hard time getting out of their zone. They're not moving the puck as good as they were in the first periods, especially in the first 10 minutes in the first period. You're wondering if they have the type of vigor they need in order to win a series like this with Tampa Bay. With goals like this, yeah, I think that they'll do all right. But this comes off of a stretched pass. It has to be. There's no space out there. So you have to make plays like this in order to capitalize. Bolduc gets sent in, just drives it right to the net and then gets it over Vasilevsky. I guess this is how you have to score on Vasilevsky. Like you have to get your initial opportunity and then put in whatever rebound, or if the puck is still loose, you gotta try to bounce on it and put that in, because they've tried going on breakaways and Vasilevsky is not letting anything in. Right after this goal, Newhook gets called for a hooking call. And again, I'm not sure you would even see this call in the regular season. On the power play, Gensel puts one off the crossbar. This is where, you know, some individuals would choose to just walk away from their TV for a couple minutes, allow their blood pressure to decrease. Still on the power play, Gensel takes a penalty as he slashes Dobesh with the puck covered up. Very assertive on this for Dobesh to go after Gensel after the slash. I think that brought the temperature up, and that's what drew the penalty. I'd like to see more of that from the Canadiens, because the Lightning are certainly doing that. On the power play, Caulfield trying to find Slav on the back door, but Slav can't find it to put it in. And now Suzuki takes a hard drive to the net. Great try here by Suzuki. This is what he's going to have to do in order to try to make his line effective. And like I said, Vasilevsky, not going to let these in, but my groin hurts just watching this. How can you do that, bro? Still on the power play, guess what?
Holding on to it as he's watched by Gergenson's out with boards.
Cole Caulfield decides to get his first goal of the series. Montreal is up 2-0. It's the first time in the series that a team is leading by 2. We move on. Perry gets a shot in the... We move on. Perry gets caught in the face in the corner. Struble gets his stick on him. Perry is cut open. Now, this could have been a 4-minute penalty, but there's a scrum after the play stops, and Montreal and Tampa are both going to get offsetting penalties, two offsetting penalties. The Struble penalty will not be called. Perry leaves, but he does return. And now, Juraj Slafkovsky is going to get caught open ice. He is destroyed here. It's a real big hit. Crozier gave Slav all that he wanted to. He does come off the ice here, but only after the contact. Future Whiskeylung here. I'm editing the video, and as I'm editing it, someone released a different angle. I'm not sure what broadcast this is from. This was not a clean hit. This angle is much more telling, which leads to why the bench was so upset with this, why Marty was so upset with this hit. It's arguable, but I think that the initial contact is the head. He leaves his feet. He propels himself upwards, leaves his feet as he's going into the check. It's crazy that Josh Anderson got the book thrown at him when him and Evans ran into Buddy Destu behind the net. But they didn't even take time to review this. Anyway, that's enough from me. It's ridiculous, man. Slav would leave with 2 minutes left in the period. He would come back in period number 3, but I'd be surprised if he didn't get his brain box rattled on this one. Now with 58 seconds left, Tampa's going to get on the board.
Struble handing it off to Moser in the final minute. Gensel score!
Moser finds Struble sleeping a little bit on Gensel, and with less than a minute left, what a demoralizing goal. And right before the second period ends, Tampa gets a really good opportunity, but Dobesh is fighting and he is able to keep this puck out of the net just by the skin of his teeth. So the third period starts, and like I said, Slav is back on the bench. And this is where the pin is pulled out of the grenade. Kapanen called for a high stick, which was not a high stick. This is a phantom call. He did not hit his opponent high, and the Tampa Bay Lightning are put on the power play. So you start the period off, you get a phantom call, your opponent gets put on the power play, and they capitalize. Hagel, 2-2, backdoor tap, and of course, they tie it on this phantom call. So goals usually come in at a premium this series. Montreal has scored a lot on the power play. They need to figure out how to do things 5-on-5. And it's mostly the blue-collared workers who are doing it. So after we see a play where Hudson plays Kucherov really well, we do finally see some amazing offensive zone time by the first line, which is, it's like a breath of fresh air. If they can only just keep doing what they did here, eventually they'll get rewarded. But Mike Matheson takes another freaking high sticking call on Gensel. They can't go too long without taking a penalty. Otherwise, they'll run a surplus. So on that penalty kill, Newhook and Evans are in the zone after a great take. Newhook is being interfered with, but Evans is going to give Gooch a little tap on the back. Gooch embellishes the hit and goes into the boards hard. Evans is the one on this play that draws the penalty. So Montreal is having to go on a 5-on-3. And I got to say, Kucherov looks like he's really hurt here. Like he's pouring it on. He's on the ice. He's having a hard time getting up. Tampa Bay gets put on the 5-on-3. A shift goes out, and then Kucherov is right back on the ice. But Montreal kills the 5-on-3. Then they kill the penalty. Then they start pouring it on in Tampa's end. It really looks like Montreal is going to be the one that gets the next one.
Consecutive game. Kucherov to Moser. Kucherov scores!
Hagel makes it 3-2. He scores again. Hagel, he's got more goals than the rest of his team. Montreal builds all this momentum, and then Hagel, was he credited with this goal? I got to make sure. He was credited with this goal. He's standing in front of the net. It gets deflected off of him after they throw it in front. It's like one of those goals that you just throw pucks at the net. They go in sometimes. And that's how Tampa Bay wins this game. Definitely feels like an undeserved win for Tampa Bay. I wouldn't feel too good if I was on that team, but knowing those guys, they totally don't read it. Or I guess they do read that and they probably think, hey, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. So another disappointing loss for the Montreal Canadiens. This could have been game 4 done. This could have been a sweep. Thinking about how after the Canadiens won game 1 and a bunch of chuckleheads were saying, hey, Montreal stole that one. Come get out of here. But certainly this one feels bad. And hopefully the team kind of takes this like, hey, we were the better team tonight. Sometimes the puck bounces the wrong way. This is a type of game, blah, 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 this and that. And really, they just need to keep doing what they're doing, except the guys that are getting paid, $7-8 million a year, they need to figure out ways to put pucks in the net 5-on-5. Because you can get mad at the penalties, but at the end of the day, you can't predict how penalties are going to happen. And there's game management. There's games inside the games. It's political. There's bureaucracy inside these games. So if you're relying on special teams, it's great to have your special teams working. But if you're relying on your special teams, that's not a winning formula. And I think that's going to do it for me. Talk to me in the comments. I know you're probably not loving this one either. Who disappointed you out there tonight? I'm starting not to get disappointed by anyone that is being paid below, $5 million. I'll say this, Zach Bolduc tonight did everything I think was advertised to Montreal management when they decided to trade for him. He was physical. He was moving the puck. He scored, obviously, and it was a beautiful goal. But what's great about him is he's always putting in a good effort. It just seems a little bit at times that he's putting in the effort like it's a work hard, not smart type thing. Dobesh continues to be great. Anderson was out there and he was doing Anderson stuff, but he wasn't as much as a factor as he was in game 1 and game 2. What else? I think that's where I'm going to end it, because I do need to take this back and think about it a little bit more. Yeah, I do these recaps like right after the game, so it would probably benefit I would probably benefit myself by thinking about this and doing the recaps the next day. But I think this is the formula we're going with, right? Or maybe I could just do 2 videos. So that's going to do it for me. Like the video. It helps me out with search results or something like that. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'd love to have you. And as always, I will see you down in the comments.
The Kapanen high sticking penalty obviously was a turning point. The review video looked like he never came anywhere near the guy's face. I'm sure you see that video on the bench also. When you see stuff like that, the frustration level, and are your hands sort of tied as a coach, what you can do or say to a referee in a case like that?
Yeah, I'm just going to lean on Seinfeld on that one.
What would George Constanza say?
Exactly.